Hi everyone, my name is Elena. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is about the importance of romanticizing your life. And I know this is just a recent thing that I've been doing, and it's hard sometimes, right? It's hard to have the energy to kind of take care of yourself and just kind of put that extra effort in doing things, especially if you're recovering from burnout. Don't mind the paint on my hands. I was painting my shoes today. As someone that has recovered from burnout, I totally understand why it would be difficult to start romanticizing your life. Obviously do what you need to do. When I was in burnout, I didn't realize burnout can last 3 to 5 years. When I was in complete burnout, I remember just waking up, getting ready to go to work, and then going home and sleeping all day, barely eating, not very healthy, sleeping, and then going back to work again. And it was like that for what felt like 2 to 3 years of my life, where I got really frustrated at the universe because I was like, this is not how I imagine living my life. I don't know what's happening. And this was before I realized that, I was autistic and that I was really struggling. And I've been struggling with a bunch of jobs that I've had before. And it's because I didn't realize I was masking, and I didn't realize I was really struggling and super sensitive to lighting, super sensitive to loud noises, people, bunch of stuff, right? So I found that, when I was burnt out, I didn't get it at the time. I was very angry at the time because I had to stay in bed all the time and I didn't really have, quote unquote, a life. It was because my nervous system needed to reset. Mind you, I'm not a doctor, this is just from my personal experience. I'm not a medical professional. If you need medical advice or whatever, you need to go to a professional for this. I'm just sharing with you my experience, which was that I felt for myself that I needed to reset my nervous system. And the only way that I was able to do that was to first get myself into a space where I felt safe enough to relax. So I'm not around people that triggered me. I wasn't around environments that were triggering. I was able to finally relax a bit. And because my body knew that, it just started to recover right away, which meant that I was going to sleep. Eventually, I trusted the process and understanding that my body needed to do what it needed to do and that it will all make sense later on, but I had to be in it for a bit. I also knew that during that time, I didn't have the energy to go out to eat. I didn't have the energy to do anything that I really loved. I wasn't really creative either. It was literally work, sleep, work, sleep. But once you start to get out of that phase, or you start to recover from that phase and you start to get more energy, I started to get more creative in my life. I started to feel more myself. I started to get my makeup ready and stuff. And mind you, if you have a job where you don't have to get ready, let's say you wear a hairnet or mask and whole suit, and sometimes you kind of can get lost in that, where you're not even taking the time of self-care. It's not even about putting a full face of makeup on, but for me it was that little step that I do in the morning to do my eyelashes or whatever is to remind me of myself, remind me of who I am outside of work, which was super important, especially if you have a job where you're wearing a certain uniform all the time and maybe you're around people that you don't normally hang out with. You feel out of place, but it's these little things, they kind of assist you in remembering yourself. So when I say you start to romanticize your life and you're in that phase where you have more energy to appreciate life a little bit more, because when you're in it, you're just surviving, right? When you're in burnout, you're just surviving. But once you get out of there, and eventually I believe people will, I pray that they will, and they'll be able to recover, it's really important to start putting energy towards appreciating yourself. And that is what romanticizing your life is about. It's about honoring yourself, honoring how far you've come, showing love towards yourself, like buying yourself a bouquet of flowers. And it doesn't even have to cost money, right? It's like going out for a nice walk, or make your meals very pretty. It doesn't have to be expensive. You just have to maybe arrange it in a way that it looks really, really nice because you're presenting it to you. It's like a gift to you. And if you are able to eat out, put your whole glam on and then wear a fancy outfit and then go out and have a meal. You know, take yourself out to a fancy restaurant that you've been looking at for a while to go to. Just honor yourself, because that energy, that intention, in that you're appreciating you, you're actually putting that reflection or energy out into the universe, where the universe reflects it back to you. So they are appreciating you too. So it's like there's more things to appreciate, more things to be grateful for, more things to love. And sometimes, you know, on the spiritual journey, it can be quite difficult, because a lot of times it's your connection with God and connection with your higher self, and you don't have a big circle of people around you. Maybe there's people who are on the spiritual path where they had to walk away from people they grew up with. Maybe they shifted out of their childhood friend circle, or maybe they don't connect with their family anymore. Like, it can be a very lonely journey. And I think sometimes spirit has to give us that time alone to almost like recover from our burnout, from, you know, being traumatized growing up, and then healing and understanding our gifts more, and then allowing us to cultivate a deep sense of care and love for ourselves, so that we get to appreciate the energy and the time that we have for ourselves. Because a lot of spiritual people like tend to like give a lot of their energy to people around them. They care a lot about other people. So this is almost a time for you to kind of take care of you, focus on your passions, focus on what makes you happy, focus on just like recovering, or like taking care of yourself, buying the things that make you happy, all of those things. And I almost feel like this is very imperative for a lot of spiritual people, or people who are on this path, because I feel like when you're there, when you're so comfortable in your own energy, like you're so protected and so divinely guided and so in tune with spirit, like this is the time for you to be where you need to be. Because the next phase for some of us, not all of us, but the next phase for many of us, we're gonna have to start to attract our community towards us. So that means, like, instead of before where we're kind of floundering and kind of having our energy split in so many directions, we are now in a space where we have mastered having the energy, our own energy, aligned with it, to the point where when we attract community, when we attract the next chapter, when we attract the next opportunity, we don't lose ourselves in it. We know ourselves. We know our purpose. We know what we stand for. We know what we want. We know what we need to do. And we understand that our purpose is bigger than just like being in our small little sphere. We are getting prepared for getting out there. So especially those who are in a leadership position, or those who have been having a lot of life lessons in terms of speaking your truth, being out there, being seen, stepping up on stage, leading, teaching. A lot of people that have that type of purpose are now being pushed forward to share their gifts and being encouraged to share their gifts, and they just don't want us to lose ourselves within it, because we naturally will be around a lot of different energies. We don't want to burn out again. We have learned. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video helps, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.